All right, guys, it's about 5:30 in the morning. I come in this morning and Joe Barry's in the house. He was supposed to get in around, I don't know what they said, 3 or 4 in the morning. They came all the way in from Denver, so they're here. Today's Wednesday, giving you the update video today, but they're here. A lot of updates on the cars, update on the Haas machine, so let's get right at it. So thanks for watching, guys. All right, guys, at the shop, got everything going on. Like today's Wednesday, so we do have Joe Barry. Just showed you he's out front. Jason Sack and Luke, they'll actually get in this afternoon. So we got a cruise tonight, so Luke will be in doing videos for hopefully for tomorrow, but for all weekend. So we'll get a lot more action videos because we're going to be out cruising Woodward tonight. We got the cars together. We're seeing if we can recruit a couple other cars, but for sure we got Joe Barry, we got Aiding, we got myself, and then we'll see who else wants to join us. A lot of people don't come in until tomorrow for Roadkill, but we want to just get the chance for a little roll down Woodward before it gets too busy and everybody's in town. So a lot of people ask about what do I drive on a normal basis. There's my daily. That's my daily in the summertime. Trailblazer SS, modified. It's got a Whipple on it. Steve went through the engine. I mean, it's been together. I mean, it almost always sounds like it's ready to fall apart anymore, but I probably have 25,000 miles on it since we had the engine out of there last. It's 800 horse roughly, so not anything overkill because it's still the stock LS2 block. It's just modified. But let's get to the updates with things. And we got the Haas machine, and they were cutting parts yesterday. If you saw my Instagram page, then I posted a picture, and they made a little more progress last night with it as you start to see the shape. But that's going to be an SMX block, working with Steve on hopefully being able to provide him his SMX blocks. So first stage, it'll be a 2-stage process with it because it'll get roughed in, hoping that it's a 2-sided setup is the goal, that basically one side gets done, it gets flipped around, the other side gets done, it goes to heat treat, and then after it comes back from heat treat, then it gets final machining before it actually goes to Steve. So that is the goal with that. I'm super happy that we finally are cutting something. That block of material has been sitting here for 8 months. As we know, the machine is 10 months that it's been here. So finally, Haas is in here this week. I haven't talked to Jim or any of them a lot because there has been a crew. There's 3 or 4 of them every day that are going through stuff and working on things to try and refine it. The news I'm getting so far is everything's good, everything's progressing nicely. So that's the hope where that stays. Really hope that does get finished machining this week so that it is ready to go to heat treat. I don't know if that's going to happen or not happen. Like I said, I haven't asked a lot of questions about it yet. I'm just excited to see chips flying on that thing. So 2.0, some progress was made on 2.0 yesterday. So the fire system is mostly plumbed in place. So we do have, there's 2 separate bottles, and each one is going to be independent. What you have with it is this bottle here actually serves the driver's compartment. It goes through this sensor here. Not even sure if you're going to be able to see it, but I don't know if you can see, there's a little glass tube in here, but it's going to go, it goes through here, and that tube breaks at 180 degrees roughly. So the idea with that is that makes this part automatic. So therefore, if this area exceeds that temperature, that glass will break, and that releases the driver's compartment. And basically this one's going to be spraying my crotch area, this one spraying my face area. So basically this just coats us in the fire aid. basically sustainability, or us being able to last longer, like in the case of the fire, cools it down, as well as helps to hopefully put the fire out. Then with that, there is also a manual release for the driver's compartment system. So if I choose to release that driver's compartment system manually, that's going to be that lever. This lever up here is the engine compartment. So that one will still do the engine compartment, and that one will fire off of the other bottle over here. Which that'll be plumbed into this. This is going to be the engine bay. It'll be plumbed up, and then there's going to be 4 sprayers up here for that area. So, and then that will cover the engine compartment side of things. We got that. We got the new precision shifter mounted yesterday. Big difference with this, which I guess I'll show you on the other side, is there's more sensors in it. It's actually pretty sweet the way it's set up. How well you'll be able to see it, but it has this rod, which basically has detents in it. So therefore, like for the sense, like I can change it to give us a trigger output from the wire harness to tell me which gear it's in, or basically tell the computer what gear it's in. I know by looking at it, but the idea being is that we have a lot more control with programming based on information, and that's all the stuff is with these cars. I mean, it's data, because you get down to where you're dealing with fine tuning it. So you just want to go a little bit faster, and everything's and to go a little bit faster, you need a little bit more information so that you can make, or let the car make decisions based on that little bit of information that it has. That was a big part of yesterday. This is the module for the Holley EGTs, which I told you about before, which we're wiring in there, and this ties them in on the CAN bus into the Holley system, which then gives us the ability to do things in the Holley based on EGTs. When we were in the race pack, we had the data and we were able to log it, but we weren't able to let the Holley ECU make decisions based on what that was. That was just basically a resource for us after the run to be able to go and look and see the data and make adjustments. These are the sprayers for the engine compartment for the fire system. They're laying there. Oh, another sweet thing is we got our motion delivery yesterday. So here are the Wilson throttle bodies that were on the car. Obviously, those have gone through the fire. These are our new Icon throttle bodies. Now, check out the logo. They engraved it for me. They put this one here with that, and I'm like, well, that's going to be covered up with all the tube and everything. Can you do something on the outside? So it's pretty sweet. They were able to do that there. Because my throttle bodies mount on this car, they mount in this direction. So idea being that obviously we're going to be able to see the logo with it, and just basically advertise that part of it or show that. These are 92s, which they just came out with the 92s. They had the 102s, and I can't remember the other size, but there's also the Wiggins clamp adapter, flange adapter. Not sure how all that's going to go into place yet. We're going to have to make a little bit of modifications to things, but those, super sweet, super excited to have that and be able to get those on the car. One thing we did have, which hopefully that will not be the case with these, is no matter what, it always seems like one of these screws, even if we Loctited or didn't Loctite, or we always Loctited it, but these screws would wiggle loose and you'd come to a point where the throttle blade would be loose. We would know because the idle would change. So we would have to pop that off and then tighten those back down again. So hoping that these cleaned up that part, but I mean, that is just, man, that is a beautiful part. So just shows you what Motion Raceworks is doing over there and making that stuff in-house. They don't have delays like everything else. Primer pump came in, so that is going to be mounted to the side of the fuel cell. As I said yesterday, that the primer pump is for methanol, and because it runs, our mechanical pump So when you go on the mechanical and it's drawn from so low, it's got to get the fuel up to the fuel rails, and basically through there, through the filter and into the fuel rails. So you're always dealing with the fact to get it started, to get that pump to prime, because it wouldn't just prime on its own. So we'd get it fired up. Usually, like I said, with brake clean, somebody's like use WD-40, I don't know, like it's, I mean, you're talking a little squirt. It's really not doing anything to get that pump to prime. This will be mounted over here, and the idea is it's going to plumb in here. It'll pressurize the system so the car will fire, and then once it fires, this pump gets turned off. This is just to basically prime the system, but to make when we switch from gas to gas to alcohol that much easier. So that is the primer pump. Anything else on 2.0? I mean, 2.0, that was the progress with it today. As I said before, like it's kind of getting attention, but 1.0 was kind of the bigger deal, plus tracking down parts and different things for it. Andy was in yesterday. He's the wiring guy, but the clips on these new fuel injectors, it's this one. Cheap clips, 2 of them broke just putting this on here. I think they came with the fuel injectors. He's going to look for a better resource for this style connector. So because obviously what we don't want, if one of these comes off, we're running, there's 2 and then underneath here 3. So we're running 3 injectors per cylinder. So therefore each injector is delivering 1/3 of the fuel. If one of these clips comes off, now this cylinder is going to be down 1/3 of the fuel, cause the lean condition. That's how you lift ring landings, that's how you break stuff. I know it from experience, and that is also one of the reasons to get the EGTs tied into the Holley, because if it goes lean, this cylinder goes hot. We do have the ability to then shut the cylinder off or make a correction based on that. Now, these things aren't bulletproof. That's the other thing, is like there's, now if you get an error with this and this wasn't bad, and I mean you made a decision based on that, and that's where you got to start saying the risk of the run versus the risk of saving the engine. Lots of different things depending on the situation you're in racing or at the event that you're at. So that's on the fuel injectors. Also the O-rings, we went to the Viton O-rings, which is an O-ring that is rated for methanol. Like my little learning curve on things is that there's a whole bunch of different kinds of rubber or plastic or what that these are made out of, and each one is used for different fuels, and some of them have one that's good for methanol could be horrible for gas, and one that's good for X fluid could be bad for another fluid. So these ones are gas and methanol, so hopefully these won't dry out, and that's the big thing with methanol. Methanol wants to dry everything out. So when it goes and it dries things out, then that's what causes it to crack. That's what gives it the ability to break. But that gives you where we're sitting at on 2.0. Coming together slowly, a lot of work coming into next week. We're hoping to have it pretty far along by next weekend, because it's actually going to go to Andy, the wiring guy, for a couple days, and hope that he can get a lot of the wiring that needs updated, replaced, taken care of. So, rambling, you'll see that this video is probably just going to be in one segment. I actually have a meeting this morning that I got to get to, but giving you all the updates on everything, just like I said I would. 1.0. 1.0 is together. We went to fire it last night, and the street tank is actually out of fuel. So it did try and fire. We had to make a programming change. Last time when the engine went in here, there was an issue with the crank trigger and its location and where it was indexed to. Steve went in there. We made a change to the firing order just to fix that, to get by with that. Well, when he put it together this time, it's actually one of his guys put it together last time. This time he put it together and he fixed that. So then when we went to fire it yesterday afternoon, wouldn't fire, made the change in the firing order in the Holley, and it started to fire. It's just down on fuel pressure. We also have a fitting that I'll try and show you here, but there is a shutoff valve. This valve right here that is leaking. That valve's been in there since the car was built, but yesterday it was dripping. It was dripping right out of the handle to the valve. So had to order one of those. That'll be in this morning. But once we get that replaced, get some fuel in here, this should be good to go. Got everything back together. It's got the oil in it. We'll check the oil level. One thing that somebody was asking about was wet sump versus dry sump, and why is this one a wet sump? Space is the biggest reason why it's still a wet sump, because this one has the intercooler up front and there's all this stuff going on. It's like, okay, well, where could you put that dry sump tank? And forever, this was an internal oil pump as well. So it was still using a factory style big block Chevy internal oil pump, and everything worked great. And when we had, which I talked to you guys about before in one of the videos, when we had an oiling issue or what we thought was an oiling issue in 2014, 15, we thought it was that we met the limits of a stock style oil pump. So we went to the external oil pump was the reason for it. Now, glad we did make the move to the external oil pump. I mean, it's definitely a better way to go than running the internal, but ended up not being our problem. The brand of oil that we were using was the problem, that basically was eating up bearings and running into issues with that. But that is where we are at with 1.0. So it'll fire today, should be on the road. We're hoping to cruise Woodward with it tonight. Tires, we have, let me just turn on the charger. Tires, they got one unmounted and then they came to me because of the wear marks on this. But this tire, that tire, everything's great with this tire. I mean, it has been worn a little more on the inside than on the outside. One thing with this, you can tell these were used on the street quite a bit, because this is a wear mark, this is a wear mark. There should be one here, one here. Those ones are gone. We're actually gonna put on, so that's gonna definitely limits the life that's left on these tires. So these I will use on Woodward, so I won't switch to those till Friday. We're gonna put on the fancy show tires. These are the Billet Specialties, the big boys. So these will go on here today for cruising around, and these are the 20-inch rims, 33, 22, 20. So they don't make this tire anymore either, but this was a custom set that Denny Terzic had made for this car. Big Billet Specialties, 20-inch rims, big ass meats. It looks super cool on it. Obviously you're not going to race on anything like that, but for driving around, definitely a cool setup. But what else we got? Oh, pump gas. So we're going to put pump gas in there. We're going to cruise around today and tomorrow on pump gas, or today, tomorrow, until Friday. We'll be on pump gas, and then we'll switch it over. What we're going to do, which I explained to you guys before, but then we got to switch it over to Q. So we're going to put Q in the back tank. Second stage of the pump will kick in with the intercooler, and then that will allow, we can get about 1,700 horsepower running off the back tank with it, because we won't be running a bunch of boost on the street, so we don't need it. So that's going to give us the ability to cycle a lot more fuel through there, not have to fuel up when we're on the street between runs. Hopefully by going to those Hoosier tires, and they still got some life left in them, that we're going to be able to run those tires on the street and make good progress with it. So that is what we got for you. We got there's your Haas update, your 2.0 update, your 1.0 update, update in general. We got pizza party tomorrow night at Sick Pizza in Oxford. We have Friday, we got the M1 deal, registration for Roadkill nights, and then after that is the sick day. We're gonna be throwing up some stickers on the website too for the sick day stickers, the Woodward stickers. Donation for those, to get those, because Zach Thompson down the street, he was nice enough that he printed up a bunch of them. He gave the stickers as a donation for the Epilepsy Foundation. We're going to be selling those stickers on the website. That you're going to pay 20 bucks for the sticker. A $20 or more donation gets you the sticker. And we'll get those shipped out. Those won't ship out until after the event, because with that sticker, that's the same sticker that would get you into the event on Friday. But a lot of people have asked if they can just get the sticker. So that's one thing we're going to do with that. Then the magazine. The magazine went to print last night. So I know that because my credit card got charged from the printer. So the magazine is finalized. I can't wait to show you previews of it. I think that this weekend we're going to talk about it with Luke a little bit more, and maybe he'll have a little bit of sample or something that we'll share. But man, I want to say a long time coming, but all this has started and ended in 6 months. So that's where we're at. The magazine went to print, so it's going to go out. We ordered a few hundred extra for new subscriptions that come in between now and when we receive it, so that we can ship those out as well. Like, just going to be an epic deal. So sickthemag.com on that. And hopefully tomorrow we got rolling video from Woodward Avenue with us and Joe Barry and whoever else joins us. And thanks for watching, guys. Give me your comments, give me a like, give me a notification. I mean, whatever, you know, all that YouTube lingo, but give me all that stuff. And thanks for watching, guys.